think, I mean, he can always come out and speak, and you understand, because they will have that information. I can remember that vividly. You know, like people been around my uncle Azzy, and hear him speak about with losing his mom and his other siblings and stuff like that. As a grown man, he still affected him psychologically because he still cry about it. You understand? Because you can't, money can't bring back things, but at least it can help a lot of people who still going through a lot and feeling years and can have a better life and help their children and generation and help build even generational wealth. So for me, the government have a right to pay out no less than a minimum to each family members that have been affected, 1 million and up, because the kind of money I see wasted around here and giving away to people who that went through the suffering. Because we are the children of we ancestors. We are ancestors, And we went through, you understand, the bondage and the tribulation for all the years.
Yeah, but
And we
Banky,
said,
what I'm saying, what
yes.
I'm saying, right? Part of the argument is going to be, which I guess I'm foreseeing, that this happened
Yes.
under Crown Colony government, and so it would be more so the responsibility of the British government to make that payment versus, because remember also when we got independence, we had to find money for ourselves to do whatever. Remember they got nothing from British, so technically it would be asking us. But I mean, I mean, you're making a point as well that the amount of money that they have around, that they could easily take some
Of
out of the
course.
CBI or whatever and deal with a compensation
Yes,
package and so on. But I'm just
You,
saying,
you, you,
technically,
you
it
think
was under the British.
any, of course, I
Mhm.
understand what you're talking about, but you think any citizen think it's a Nevis would have a problem with any government, whether they want was under the first one under the first is premier is that Vacha, and then under Kennedy Simmons, under Douglas, under Tim, and the whole unity, and then on the direct now with any citizen, if they say, well, you know what, we allocate 400 million or 500 million, and this money going to divide it between the families of those. You understand? You think anybody gonna vex for that and have an issue with that when they see how the politician and their lawyer friends and accountants and all of them scamming the CBI and I mean if you sell a passport, well the passport is supposed to be the money in your bank account. So well, how the money up in the chain and all the places. So that's what keeps showing that them and their friends been jerking off on us. And all them incidents know what's going on, but everybody drink out of the same cup. So I don't whatever politician do, I don't surprise, You see what I mean? Nothing surprising me at my age, almost 50. You think I got time for anything to surprise me? You see what I mean? Because it's like, if I say, well, if we're having a conversation and I tell you, yes, and you can't get pregnant, well, it's like, that'll end up like a curse word because, like, you don't, okay, if somebody else who live in a life and say that in a different LGBT, the alphabet, they don't feel offended if I speak like that. Because everything now is just affecting somebody else. You see what I mean? So it's just pure cunning keep happening. Because our people know better. We love to, and then they talk about how much they went to school 9, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, how much doctors we have. If you count the cabinet, how much doctors in the cabinet? Whether they're a liar, or them a medical doctor, whatever. You understand? Whatever. You're only for doctors. But how they treating us, they're cunning us. So you see the all in the same club. It's obvious, you know what I'm saying? It's just the obvious brethren. But the problem is there are those set of people throughout society who don't lean and beg and depend on politicians. Me, you not gonna beg. So they wouldn't come to me and say, buy bank you see $100,000 there and whatever. They can't come to me like that. You understand? They don't come to me like a man like kind of wedding. Because if you genuinely come to me and tell me buy $700,000, it gonna goes to people in the community who need the help. I ain't gonna keep the money how most people to keep all that money and then say, boy, me don't and then I get that and say, boy, I want some more money. Because these are they not come to you. You see? And that is the problem. And the moment you go into a way and start to give people money, you train on them, you train on the weak. You see what I mean? And these are things that do. You train on the weak. The people gotta really see things for what it is and realize they're just being canned. and just stop holding sides. Just think for yourself. Because in no way, the place is too small, Virgin. Where some of these politicians have to drive, go down to which part the building, the offices in Charlestown and in Bass State. That's what they're liberating in the community. They're not even allowed to jump on a bus. It's swimming glass always up. People just love power and ego and people calling them all different type of title, boss and this and that and one kind of things. We not call people them things the Virgin. Because we all are equal. You know what I'm saying? And the moment we start to see things like that and realize them is who we employ. Them are the servant. And then when we switch it up, and all of a sudden now they fear them. They fear them and start to worship them.
Reverse psychology, using reverse
That's it.
psychology, you know.
That's it. Just worshiping them. Virgin, I ain't gonna acknowledge nobody, you know. That is my thing. You understand? Respect out of respect. We gotta respect them. You work for me. You see? But that is that, and then you get all kind of perks, and you understand, protect you. Then you're looking on the people. You're looking on the people. In for how small we are, and then having discussion about we moving up the social security age and these things, especially in these times, we're really going through a lot. And then we still have the 2025 Agenda Agriculture Program. Think it moving straight ahead full speed, but I mean, Nevis, you will hear from Nevis, but I know there are farmers, a lot of farmers from the Nevis benefiting from that program in Sinkage, and whether it's homeowners, anybody, as we've been speaking about it all the time from us, the peers, I said, where they become the backyard, once you have signed up for the program, you will benefit. And that is actually what's happening in Nevis. So the Department of Agriculture in Nevis, I mean, I guess I don't understand what's going on. The minister, because
You will
the
hear
whole
about
program.
Nevis. You will hear about Nevis after Culturama. Right now, you got to remember that the Minister of
Uh-huh.
Agriculture is the Minister of Culture. And so right now, the
Yeah.
Minister of Culture is focused totally on, they don't seemingly know how to multitask as well. So they just zoomed in right now on Culturama. So after Culturama, then it'll be back to agriculture, and you'll hear more about whatever is going to happen for food security 25 by 25 agenda. Full speed ahead on that. So I want to give some credit to my minister, you know. I do feel like that. You
But
laugh. I do feel like that that is the scenario.
really, but yeah, we gotta eat how much they eat at daytime and lunch. So all this excitement about culture, people people here they wanna eat, you know. They gotta eat, cause that's all the food is a
Man,
big.
don't worry about that. Food will be around for Culturama. They'll make sure the food is around for Culturama. After Culturama, we don't know about,
Well,
but for
get
sure.
that, you know. Also, the 9 wells always already hooked up, so we can go full speed into the 2025 agenda. I remember 9 wells already been drilling and hooked up and ready and done into going into, so we can no water's supposed to go off again ever
Well,
for the next 30.
I don't know how much you pay attention to social media, but I would have seen a post earlier on today where it highlighted the fact that the rigs are already on island. They would have had meetings with the folks and
That's
Skip
on.
Hogue
That's on.
and the others.
Yes,
So
son.
everything should be rolling out. Um,
Yes, son.
yes, Banky.
Road, road. I was very excited when we came saying, well, the 2025 agenda will be moving full speed ahead because when the premier spoke about getting all these wells drilled and stuff like that and into the system. So the farmers won't have any problem. One of these wells could be allocated in a sense, you understand, to help when it comes to food security. You have been more than enough adequate 9 wells. Remember, I'm just speaking on the words what the premier spoke about, a couple of months ago, that what will be happening by culture when people hook up. So I'm not just making it up. So those wells already tapped into the source, right? So you can't come tell me no. I will give an island. Me no want to hear money with an island. You don't commit.
You
Guarantee.
may not you may not want to hear that, but
Not hear that, son.
it might be of quite a moment for the folks who are on island right now enjoying Culturama, and they're
That's
able
right.
to see that the government is working, the government is living up to their word. The government said that they were going to bring some rigs in, and the rigs are in. And so even though things might be the way it is right now, things are gonna get better, you know.
Why?
And we're demonstrating that. We would have had the rigs come in, and we had meetings with the top officials today, and so things are gonna be on the way. So all who's in now, even if you got to suffer a little bit for the culture arm or whatever, just know that the government is working. We are working to change that, and we have demonstrated that.
Right. We need to be this bold and speak to a people who say 98 and 99% literacy, which means you can understand and read and think for yourself. Well, when you speak like that, you don't believe that then. You see what I mean? You might say it, but you don't actually believe it. Because you can repeat stuff like this, blunt, and know people listening to you, and know these things are impossible. Can you see how long think it drill well and how long that we tested X amount of 45, 60 some kind of days before they test before it's possible to drink and all the different stuff. That we don't even know
But
about.
Banky, me and you might say it's impossible, and me and you might have our views and our opinions, but the reality is it works. It works, and so
I don't have the problem with things,
they 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 continue to do some of the same things because it works. I mean, so like as you talk about um food security and some of the things that we have to look at in terms of revenue generation. One of
Of
the
course.
things I remember hearing even the premier mention as the CBI issue became uh, uh, well, that kind of court issue and all that. He was talking
Yeah.
about the fact that we really need to look at alternative ways of creating revenue, and we can't just put all our eggs in the CBI basket. And he was saying, well, why not we zoom in on cannabis? Cannabis can be an alternative. However, on one hand, hearing him say that, we are seeing
Mm-hmm.
Culturama.
Of
We
course.
saw music festival not too long before Culturama, and we saw
Yeah.
provisions were made during the music festival to allocate cannabis and actually to create some, whether it's education, awareness, and give those who make use of cannabis at least a level of comfort. We have of
Yes.
any such thing on Nevis and any effort in the sense of using cannabis as a form of revenue generation to help to add to revenue generation for the NIA or even on a federal level. So, we hear these talks, and this is sometimes, kind of one of the things that irks me from an agricultural point of view, because cannabis now is also an agricultural crop. And we see a
All the
lot of
time.
this happen when it comes to agriculture on a whole. We have some of
Yeah.
these guys who are in some of these positions, and they do have some nice fancy speeches and some fancy ideas and so on when it is convenient and when the topic is relevant. But when it comes down to the action now, taking the action, it's a whole different ball game, and that's what we're seeing. Because if you're saying on one hand, let's look at cannabis as an alternative, well, how about you making some steps, some bold steps to show that you're really serious about this and not just saying this to sound good at the time and to win over the people who would be listening to you at that time, to get your agenda across. And so these are some of the things. I've not heard anything. I've not heard any specific push to promote or advocate cannabis. And
Yes.
cannabis during a time like Culturama could be, if
Mm-hmm.
it was promoted and so on, could be a way of the local folks also making some extra funds during the festivities. So I mean, I don't know.
But but
I really don't
but,
know.
but remember, the premier is still a part of the federal cabinet, and we are one federation. So how easy it is? It's just like if the mango food festival that just went, cannabis could have been a part of it into also when it comes to
Exactly.
infuse the mango card that goes good together. And it's tourism, so it's tourism control the music festival. So I don't, and even I had a shirt. with plant that with a ganja leaf, and ideally with hosting the part of the mango, different versions of mango. And the cameraman tell me, Mr. Ramsey, me shot. But I guess specifics I can't put certain pictures in the pictures. That's what this doesn't make no sense because the female over. You understand? Tourism, right? The female who approach cannabis. So how you want to come tell me this the same environment area? You can't take a picture with cannabis from the same show. That make any sense? So everything contradicting itself. So you use the fear show because the female in charge of tourism is the main man. You understand? So the department itself, the people in them inside, they still don't promote cannabis. So these things
But
don't make
that
no
is
sense.
that's one of the things that we were saying, Banky, and that's why we were calling out the ministers and those who are in authority to come to the public to clear the air on the issue so that people can
Of
know
course,
that this is not just something that we're just getting up and talking about, but actually that you would have actually gone to the house, passed laws, made regulations,
of
put
course.
bills in place, bills are being gazetted, and kind of expound on what the people can and cannot do and what they can get involved in and so on. Um, as we continue though, I'm hearing a couple of people on the chat saying that the volume is a bit low. So technician, if possible, if there's a way that you can turn the volume up, that would be appreciated.
Yeah.
Um,
Any comments
anyway,
at the
as
same
we
time?
continue, huh?
Or not any comments at the same time, apart from
Okay, so
turn to the
while
question.
let me get the comments so far, Carmen night, we had Tilliman said, good evening, guys. I can't hear you. And then Carlisle Paris tuned in and he was saying the same thing. Turn up the volume some more. It's still low. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically it for the
Awesome.
comments. But, feel free to share the live,
Okay.
folks. I know that, we haven't been around for a couple of weeks and, people have been looking for us in a banky everywhere I turn. And everybody keep asking, what's going on with the show. We're not hearing the show and so on. So we're here and we are going to organize ourselves and be able to advertise more in advance when we will be on the platform and when space created in a better way. Feel free to share the live and let folks know that even though it's Culturama, we're here, we're talking cannabis, we're talking agriculture, we're talking Culturama as well, because Culturama is a part of the food play a very vital role in the respecting and recognizing the culture, and so it's all a part of it. And also we will also taking your comments. So feel free to use the wall. This is one of the talk shows that we do pay attention to your comments. And so if you have
Yeah.
questions or you have comments that you want to pop in, we do read them and we do take time out to recognize your contributions on the platform. So we continue here, Banky and I, as usual, bring in the issues. And if you want to bring an issue to the table as well, too, you're free to drop in
Okay.
something that you would want us to expound and, talk about. So it's a kind of open forum, and that's how we do it here. We keep it open. We straight to
Yes.
the point. We just keep it real. We don't sugarcoat anything here. We just, talk it like it is. And is that's the energy that we bring.
This Friday coming up is the agriculture food festival, where they usually, well, when I used to be at the department, we'll go on the island and different homes and get different unique type of foods, as much food as possible, and have a whole spread of table, because these kind of things will usually be like a live workshop in a sense that when people come down from the city and have a lot of different samples. Like you definitely I would let them know, go check for Mrs. Daniel, because usually we get the jackfruit from Mrs. Daniel. Make sure to have one that is right so people can sample and this kind of thing, because you'll be amazed. We have a very diverse community here. A lot of people eat jackfruit. And a matter of fact, being in Indonesia, the way how they prepare the jackfruit, we went for lunch after a work of a field trip. I had to ask the guy, what is this I'm eating? Because I want if I eating fish like something like a my how is like, you understand? So after one the guy from St. Vincent. Taste this until wait is here by us. This tastes better than my fish. So wait is I say jackfruit. you see how they prepare it, you could tell it was green. So they cut it and then they prepare it and boil it and stew it down and season it up and stuff like that in a kind of sauce. Beautiful, well done. And then something at the hotel they do it in a way almost like how they do Kong's chowder in a kind of chowder farm. In that kind of so nice. So jackfruit will be
Well,
done
you
in
know,
a
Banky,
different way.
it's widely on the menu out here in America as like an alternative meat. So,
Yeah,
that's
from
one
the
of the
point of view.
ways that
Yeah.
it is utilized. Highly, highly,
Yes.
highly in high demand. Um,
Yes.
Actually, I saw a slice of it somewhere in some Asian shop for like
Mm-hmm.
13 something a slice, and it might like 13 something a pound.
Oh
Very,
wow.
very expensive. Yeah. But
Wow.
as you talk about Mrs. Daniel, I don't hear for myself, but I think in the previous comments, he
You break up a
mentioned
little bit there.
the mission,
You
um,
right. Yes, son. Yeah, yes, I'm having a technical difficulty.
uh,
Going on there is the agriculture food festival. You should get the waterfront. So if you're listening, make sure you go support that. We have different art and local local chefs and stuff showcasing what they have to offer. You back, yes, son? Yeah, yes, I have a link issue right now. And also Saturday, you will also the Saturday still be the food
uh,
fair at the Richard Park. I know speaking to Ira, they said another area that they want a cultural area, they want to have it as I said, a Rasta village where you can come go there and find get your ital and different stuff in that particular area. I'm not sure. We don't selling any clothing and natural soaps and oils and all this different. I'm not sure how exactly how that area would be set up, but that's all the idea. We, I mean, I myself would have loved to take part in that idea. Can not when I had the agriculture opening. Yes, on your back, you good? Yes, son. Yes, son seems to have an issue there with the reception. But in the meanwhile, yes, and until your son come back, I'll just continue. Yeah, when I had the agriculture open there, when I had that set up, I also, I've been asking about the event for the food fair to take part. This thing need planning. You just don't get up out the last moment, you just jump up it. I like to put things in place, plan for things and all, and make sure everything down to the nitty gritty in the last minutes. But and next time, hopefully, but at the same time, this is culture number 50, so I'm really surprised that there was not something put in place where, especially the renovation of the villa and the $5 million are whatever the amount it exceeded if it was in budget, that they'll have an area allocated for smokers, whether it's tobacco or whatever they choose to smoke. But alcohol, you can drink alcohol and consume alcohol anywhere and everywhere about. I'd like for one of these for culture, if they can have an idea how much alcohol, how much gallons of alcohol we consume by this culture alone over a period of 2 weeks. Because for this month and last month, there have been so many back-to-back music festivals. Is thousands and thousands of gallons of alcohol consumed within this region. When it comes to all these fests and all this partying, this alcohol, often different thoughts. But and we do, and then we tend to wonder why we have such a high rate when it comes to non-communicable diseases and amputees when it comes in both male and female and these things. So alcohol have a lot. It's full of cholesterol also. You see what I mean? So, but it's just part of our culture where, as you done, you work Monday to Friday, and as the weekend hit, start, when you done work, you go to a bar and chill and whatever, and that is in most places. But people choose these things as I don't do that, you don't do that. So all these are choices. Yes, son.
yeah, you could hear me?
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, before I break up, what I was about to get into, I was about to say that I was listening to I didn't get to hear, sorry, the Premier's press conference, but I heard that the Ministry of Agriculture would have had some competitions, whether it's backyard gardening. I think they had a fruit competition where, you know, backyard flowers, ornamentals, and then they had the fruit section of it. And from what I understand, my mom, she won the fruit side of it. So she was her name called out as
Right.
the winner of the food competition. I don't remember who else. You know, somebody would have capped the flowers, which I think is a very good idea. You know, which
Yes.
encourages the backyard gardeners to, you know, take care of their fruit
Cool.
trees, take care of their flowers, keep their yard looking, you know, kempt and things like that. So I got to give kudos to the Ministry of Agriculture for things like that. Another thing I really want to give them kudos for, and I hope that the PRO for agriculture do a bit more in terms of this, in terms of encouraging the backyard gardeners to make use of the agro processing facilities. There are times when they
Yes.
seek for various fruits and so on, and you know, you can utilize the facility as well yourself. You can go there and make your, you know, whatever is jam, jellies, and so on. You can just organize with them,
Mhm.
and they'll facilitate you. So, you know, things like that. I really want to commend the government for making attempts like these to help. I just say that they maybe need to do more in terms of advertising and letting the people know that, you know, these things are available. Um, I hear you talking about the prevalence of alcohol use, you know, during the festivities and so on. And, you know, as I hear that, it's kind of interesting how
Yes, and you see him just
all
stick again.
considered drugs, but
Yes.
yet they want to pinpoint cannabis, and I guess it's because of the fact that that's the one that they prohibited for a number of years and criminalized, not even just prohibit, but criminalized it. Um, that it has caused such a psychological effect that even now that it is freed up, people still have that stigma in their mind, you know, that it's so bad and it's so terrible. However, evidence, health-wise and medical-wise, have shown that in terms of danger to humans and society on a whole, alcohol and tobacco would have caused much more damage to society and communities than cannabis. And even in regards to smoking, when you're going to bring it down to the smoking side of it, cigarettes and tobacco is 10 times or 100 times more dangerous than cannabis in terms of the effects that it has on the body. However, people find all kind of excuses and arguments whenever the topic of cannabis is brought to the table. And in many cases, they just limit the arguments to the smoking and the issues surrounding the smoking of cannabis. And, you know, if children, you're going to expose it to children and all of these things. But then when you look at the argument, all of these things are very similar when you look at the availability of tobacco and alcohol and so on in our community and society. One of the things that I think really needs to be done as we move into the cannabis legalization and decriminalization. And it should not necessarily just be for the cannabis and cannabis legalization or decriminalization, but it's something that should have already been in place a long time ago. But I find that we're lapsing on it, and because we're lapsing on
Mm.
it, it is putting that argument. It has that opportunity for that argument, and the issue is, I think that we need to get to that point.
Well, definitely, I mean, yes, I'm saying we're sticking again. Well, you see, we have a lot of talk shops because legislation all been put in place because they're still really going around putting up people herb. In some cases, you see police truck moving around, which I understand, putting up people trees, and these are things should not really be happening. We have one side openly, you see, in the federal government tourism having cannabis being part of the music festival. That's a national event. So if you and then people are allowed to be inside there smoking, selling their cannabis, so people buying like legal trade. So why if one part of the federation going ahead normalizing it, but on the Navy's end, culture of 50 at any event, you never even hear the minister of agriculture speak on cannabis. You ever hear the minister of agriculture speak on cannabis? You only hear one so speak on cannabis, and that's the premier. So it might as well agriculture be put under the premier watch. That would be the best thing. Switch portfolio because the premier is the one who is the mouthpiece for cannabis, who speak on cannabis and say, oh, it should be legalized and all the different stuff. You back your son? Your son? So your son seems to having some technical difficulty with his reception there. But your son, you're back?
Yeah, it looks so.
All right. I was just saying. I was just before you get cut out. I was just elaborating that the premier is the one who agriculture should be put under, because you never hear the minister of agriculture speak when it comes to cannabis or anything and stuff like that. So why don't take that portfolio agriculture be responsible for it? Can he speak more about food security and promote agriculture more than the minister himself of agriculture? So it might as well the premier take up the mantle and put agriculture under his portfolio. But again, it's just like talking, because why would not cannabis be a part of 50th anniversary of cultural armor? If it's the biggest, baddest everything about, and it doesn't make no sense. So you think all these people coming on the island here and come
and also if you're looking at it as an alternative revenue generator, you know, as I was alluding to before, I got cut off, right?
yeah.
You know, like we look at cannabis as from that negative standpoint, right? Where cannabis, alcohol, and tobacco, basically, as they say, is drugs. That's what they say,
Yeah.
right? But however, you wanna separate cannabis and treat it um, differently. Now, cannabis cannabis is the to our medical reports, even from the smoking side. But like I said, most of the time they try to limit the debate and the discussion just smoking and the issues um, surrounding the smoking of cannabis. Why we have more serious engagement in the topic, um, where you can look at, okay, they're promoting the medicinal aspect of it, which is something that is a kind of folly anyway, because I do not necessarily subscribe to the medical cannabis terminology, because if you're going to say medical cannabis, you have to say medical thyme, medical rosemary, medical guava, medical moringa, because all of these plants have medicinal properties. And so cannabis is just another plant, another herb, just like rosemary and basil and thyme and all of these we use to make teas and things like that. So I don't see the the need to specify medicinal cannabis, um, and especially knowing that that was the premise that you used to prohibit cannabis anyway. You said that it had no accepted medicinal use or purpose, and that's why
Yeah.
you prohibit it. And now you're still using that premise to come and decriminalize it. Now, the point I was making, I think I got back to it was that we need to have IDs. Um, in America, a child can go to
And
the store and buy a
of,
lighter. Not even a lighter,
of course. Yes,
not even a
yes.
wrapper.
18,
You have to
18
show
and
an
over.
ID in order to get these
Yeah.
kind of things.
But
So
even
in
to go to a
regards to
dime,
cannabis,
consume alcohol,
right?
all these things.
A youth can go to a youth can go to a smoke shop to buy nothing if you're under 21. You can't go to a
Yeah.
liquor store to buy liquor without showing your ID. So um, we have to enforce these things and get the business in line with these things so that businesses make sure when children come that they show the ID. And all of this needed to be done also in terms of entertainment, because I'm hearing this argument along the entertainment side where people are saying, oh, there are certain events that should be adult events, and then they see little children running up and down in between there. But this happens because we don't have that issue where we have IDs, which is a part of our system, so we can monitor and manage the
But
youths
yeah,
on these levels. And if these things are done, then we shouldn't have these issues.
but if you tell them you're keeping a dance, whether it's tropics or whether a regular dance by a club or wherever, and you see school children, you want to take school children money, let them into a dance. I mean,
But how you
these
gonna
promoters.
how you know your school children bank if you don't have any ID?
Well, yes, and when you live in a
So
small
that's what I'm
community,
saying.
you know,
But,
but
so,
the
but,
right
so
thing to
the,
do
the
is to
point I'm
ID
making,
too.
Banky,
Of course.
the point I'm making is that we need to change the small-minded mentality if you're going to be taking on these first world adjustments. If you're going to be making these first world adjustments, we can't be thinking the small-minded mentality. We have to get to the point that we're going to have to do these things in order to
Yes.
combat,
So you think
these things in.
these things are not legislated up to now? No, you, that's what you're trying to tell me. When
But
as
Banky,
an adult, no, no.
a school child can go into some one of them Chinese shop and buy the bamboo and the lighter and the wrapper
But
and
is it,
the beer and the guineas and so.
but is it right? You tell me this is not in the legislation that you can't sell wine and this kind of stuff. That's what you're trying to tell me. These are they are not. You can't sell alcohol. You can't sell tobacco products. This is not
It might be on
legislation.
the books, but it's the
Uh-huh.
enforcement of the laws. Who's
But let's
enforcing
go for it.
these things?
That is the whole point. So
What
which
is
means yes. Go
so
ahead.
that's what I'm saying. So that's what we need to get to. We need to get to. That's why I said to have some
Yeah.
discussion with the business people, because first you'll have to deal with the business communities. Let them know that hey, we are going to be enforcing these things. You can't sell these things to minor, and then you would only know if they have cameras and so inside. Because who is there if there's no camera? Who is
So
there to
what advice
really
did people
say
have?
that?
So what advice so all these advisors these people have, and these ministers and these junior ministers with all these degrees and these common sense things. We gotta tell these great people, brethren, they need to pay for these advice if we have an advisor for these things.
Well,
I mean,
you know,
look at this.
Banky, I don't listen to
Yeah,
the debates and the discussions on either side,
yeah,
and I am the kind of person that just look at the issues, um, from a realistic point of view.
of course.
A lot of us sometimes we listen because we have our political agendas. I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
political agenda. I stand Rastafari. And as far as I know, all the politicians and all the governments
Same
that
thing.
I know that existed since
That's it.
fight against Rastafari. So
Yes. Still,
me ain't got nothing, no pudding on a beef and a cake and a nothing in the ring. So when
it's just
I just
pretending.
speak from a citizen point of view. I speak from a
Yes.
person who see what's going on in the country and see how, you know, I could make suggestions that can make things work better. Um, but when I hear these debates, there's a lot of debates when it's around cannabis, and it really points out the ignorance that is still there surrounding the topic, and thus us being the only, even all I know, even after the fact that cannabis has been decriminalized, we are still the only voices that come to the nation on a monthly basis and address this topic. There is no other medium or outlet that speaks to cannabis or address cannabis in such a fashion. And we continue to do this to sensitize and inform the public on a topic that could be one of the most critical vehicles to empower our people out of the level of poverty and dependency that we are seeing right now in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we're not just, when I talk about cannabis, I am not just speaking from the smoking perspective. I am speaking also from the nutritional perspective. I am speaking also
Oh,
from the health perspective. I am speaking from the textile perspective, where you can make clothes and shoes and bags and all of this. I'm talking about the industrial side, the construction side, where hemp is now making construction materials. There's
because
houses
steel,
that
you
are
need
being
no steel
made
because
from
you limit a lot of the
from
products to use steel and all them stuff, then fireproof, all these different stuff.
right. So we need to broaden our scope when we start to have the discussion in relation to cannabis, and stop just limited to the smoking and the issues surrounding the smoking. The flower, I mean, as a matter of fact, right now, the buds are the flower that we speak about. I mean, is just a tiny fraction of the uses of cannabis and the economic possibilities of cannabis. So we need more of these discussions so that we could engage the population, and so that it can also dispel that kind of stigma that people, anytime they hear cannabis, they just think about, oh, some guy smoking, and they're getting high and all of these kind of thing, and oh, it make people crazy and all of these kind of foolishness. I mean, it's sad we're in 2024 and we still have these kind of things, and then we have seemingly politicians playing political games with the issue. Like I'm saying, bringing the conversation to the table when they think it is convenient, but not necessarily taking the necessary actions to bring the
Yes.
things that they're saying into reality.
Yeah, but the last minute when the premier went to Canada, I think it was Toronto, where he spoke and said he went down to I guess downtown Toronto, where they have some cannabis shop, and just walking and the street hit on high. The previous comedian, right? With the Chris Rock and all them comedian put together. Just walking down the street hit on high and just going to all these stores, different flavors and this like that. I mean, the premier is a specialist when it comes to cannabis. You understand?
Yeah,
Specialty.
but he keeps saying also, he keeps pushing
Yeah.
the argument also that he think that the federal government is pussyfooting around by just
Oh,
going and taking baby steps and so on. He's of the view that they should just free it up, like Uruguay, free up cannabis, and like Amsterdam and so on. However,
well,
what I am saying is, it sounds nice. It sounds nice
yeah.
hearing him saying that. It sounds, very reassuring hearing him saying that. But then here is it, we're on the ground. Culturama 2024, Culturama 50, an opportunity where you can showcase a lot of what you are saying, because it has been decriminalized. You would have had activities on St. Kitts. You had the music fest on St. Kitts, which demonstrated that openness. So here is it, you have an opportunity now to put what you're saying into action. Okay, we have Culturama now, and here is an opportunity for those who are involved in the trade, whatever kind of cannabis products you have, whatever kind of buds you have available, and so on. You can have a little. The second you have the wine tasting and the papaya, different flavors and so on. You could have different flavors of cannabis, and different flavors of cannabis wines, and different flavors of cannabis cakes, you know, beverages, and the whole works. And so you have an opportunity where you could have demonstrated a bit of what you are claiming can happen with the cannabis industry if given the opportunity, and use it as a model to say, okay, yes, federal government, this is what I've been showing you all that we can do. See it here.
But yeah, sorry. Well, this is the whole point. So these are just a lot of talk shop. It's just like they're going to all these different conferences and to the UN and all these different summit on the place and have this fancy talking on the world stage and come back and there is nothing. You see what I mean? And it's the same thing towards cannabis. But you will see when the time is ready, you'll see who are going to get involved in cannabis growing. when everything
Well,
you will see.
in
You understand?
in
Because,
recent
mhm.
times, they would have had a new, well, I shouldn't say new, but they would have upgraded, updated the cannabis body. I
More,
think it's now 15
yes, yes.
members. The
Yes,
I think the
yes.
only it's kind of interesting that you have a 15-member board, but only one member from Nevis. That
That seems to be a
is
big
kind
topic.
of.
That seems to be a big topic. Yeah. That seems to be a big topic in the federation right now. Why there is a 15-member board and one from Nevis and stuff like that. But yet you still have a lot of civil servants on the board too, as along with a minister of cabinet. You see what I mean? But I still ain't seen anybody from the agriculture department, whether it's from the Nevis end, the ones from Nevis end as a PSR director, and one from Sinking end as a PSR director. Because you still have to go through their part dealing with agriculture, because the PS is who really will be leading the part when they go in the agriculture area. Because you gotta collaborate. So I don't understand. Well, I mean, me don't think for people to come in, I get everything for them. But those are who
Well,
instead of who for the decision making, I don't come. Yet I still see people between 18, 25, 26. You understand? Kind of, you need to reflect a good portion of the general public. So I don't understand how things have been done and all these different stuff, and how soon will an office will be open where one can call and get information. So all this time here in Nevis, you should have a PRO, because these are easy stuff. We have too much money wasting. It's like you're saying, out of every dollar, $6, 60% of the money waste. You understand? So 60 cents waste out of every dollar. That don't make no sense. So with all these great scholars, they can't manage money. That's what you're telling me. But it shows.
well,
And that,
I look forward. I look forward to hearing more from
yeah,
this new committee, and
of course.
the way forward, because we have been waiting for a couple of years now, because I think it's since 2019
For
or
2 years.
18 there about they would have made this first steps in
Mm-hmm.
regards to moving forward with cannabis. We know in
Yes,
2024, and to me, to some extent, we are still seemingly not much further than we were back in 2018, 2019. Um, we do see a little bit more. Well, let me not say I see, because I'm not really on the ground. I guess it's people
yes,
like you would have to tell me if it is more easier for people now, smoking and not being harassed as much. But I'm still hearing of cases where, people, plants are being pulled up and people are being harassed. I saw a case in recent times in the newspaper where 3 persons were caught with some amount of cannabis. I think 2 from St. Kitts and 1 from Nevis, and so when all of these things are happening, it still really makes you, wonder what is really the agenda, and what can you do, what can't you do, what should you do,
yes,
how should you go about doing this, instead of people just having to continue to take risk and still getting themselves caught up in 2024 with cannabis, while in America, they're seeking to reclassify cannabis, bring it down to a category 3, and try to deal with some of the financial issues that are of a major concern for some of the islands in the Caribbean, where they talk about the fact that, they even though you make money from cannabis and so on, it's not federally legal, so you have issues in terms of getting it cleared in the banking systems and issues like that. So, we're not even hearing much of these discussions and so on. I really look forward to hearing from the committee. I remember we would have reached out to one of the members who agreed to be on our panel, but she did call and said that she would not have been able to make it this month. So we do have some time to rearrange that meeting with that member of the new panel. And so I really would love to see and hear what plans St. Kitts and Nevis have in regards to moving forward with cannabis, and Nevis
yes,
especially, because we're not hearing anything from the Nevis end. Actually, nothing other than, like you mentioned, and I mentioned, hearing the Premier making a couple of bold statements and so on. Other than that, we don't hear anything, and it is now under the Ministry of Agriculture, and we don't hear anything from the Ministry of Agriculture. And the Ministry of Agriculture, sorry, the Minister of Agriculture
yes,
happens to be the Minister of Culture. So that is one of the reasons why I'm thinking that seeing that he's a part of culture and seeing that this is one of the crops that can help to revive our economy. And this can help also to put agriculture back on the pinnacle where agriculture is bringing in as much money as tourism and maybe even more than tourism. And so I am really trying to rationalize the thinking, because even with culture and culturama, there should be that serious marriage. Because if you're bringing in people, you should be thinking of preparing yourselves to have the people fed when you come in with a lot of local food, and have, find ways of creating activities that could boost the farmers and the agro processors and so on during that time while the people are there, so they can sample things and take back things, and then when they go back and they share with their friends and so on, they could continue requesting for these commodities throughout the year and so on. So I these are some of the things that I think that we really need to consider. And if you have people there who still have that kind of negative mentality towards cannabis, then we are seeing that we're not going to get too much further with the industry. And even if we do get further, they're going to hand it over to other people. And in most cases, not people like us. It will be outside entities and so on to come in and benefit and so on. So,
yeah,
we really got to
agriculture.
voice our opinions and see who we
Yes.
could bring to the table to help to educate the masses. Right now, Banky, is just me and you right now. We're the only voice in the federation that deals with a topic that addresses cannabis alone. Nobody else address cannabis. Nobody else talk about it. There's no other forum, no public forum that you could hear any discussions on the topic of cannabis and the way St. Kitts-Nevis and what is happening on St. Kitts-Nevis and or anywhere, or even just talking about the plant on a whole.
But why is why is that when the government itself they're moving towards it and already planning to have it set up by the eco park and different areas as the tourism minister speak about and have all these different stuff, and you understand where because they openly speaking about it, what their plan is, because it's a part of the tourism product. So how and the premier is in charge of tourism on the Davis end. So how when tourism have function and you have the local arts people doing their soap making, they can't even work with a cannabis soap because once they attended the cannabis at tourism function. So I try to understand, but in the ministry, the premier over this area, he the same ministry and pushing for cannabis. So how you are saying you all can? Actually, I had a short bridge for the Mango Festival, the opening, and they kept saying, "You're mad. What are you talking about?" So it's about against specific orders. I said, "Really?" When the premier, and you hear me spoke about it earlier today. Because it's not it's madness. Those who don't make no sense. So the premier need to answer to the general public, why is that tourism is not pushing cannabis when Sinkit is speaking about it and he's the one who push it, but at the same time, one of his ministries with inside the orders is passed down when you have activity, whether it's markets or what activity is posing keeping, the vendors then can have nothing with cannabis because they don't want people to travel back and get problem with the soap, chemical and cannabis. People work with soap out of the years that are cannabis and belt and shoes and clothes. What nonsense is this? They're so worried about their guests than anything else. They don't think they're paranoid over craziness. It's a soap. What that was what in cannabis. You see the extreme how people put things over. That don't make no sense. Our candle and that is infused with craziness. These are the things some trying to understand. Well, how one is pushing and one is not pushing it. Because and agriculture opened it this year in March. When I did this setup when it comes to the educational part of the cannabis college, as it was done, hundreds of people come inside there. When the minister of agriculture come inside there, they in the laughing after the minister because the minister come in and he say he high like a kite and he free to come in. It's like one step, two step, and he stop. And we want the minister stopping there for if you say I can't even say 10 seconds, 20 seconds. We run out of inside there. Not even come to everybody else come and get a walk through. I explain everything from different era come back up to modern different technologies of the lighting and different stuff and techniques of not even that. So I know when people are not into things in a virgin. So when people show me the true self, I don't vex with people. I don't take nothing. I don't take things personal. At the point of my life, when you show me your evil ways and your intent, me not vex with you. You show me who you be. That's all it is. So that's just how it's it. I don't have the energy because you won't continue being who you're being. But eventually, people are gonna see that you're not serious, and that's just reality about it. So in these times, people should not be mad in using their energy when people bamboozling them and believe they're smarter than anybody else. Because eventually, one of the 33 strategies of wine, people got to understand it now. When you keep fooling the people, eventually, when you realize you're canning them, you're going to help to pay the priest. You see? That's what you got to understand. Because you can't fool people all the time. And when people can see through you, you just watch and just smile, and that's all. Because ain't no reason for no one should be able to be watching people in these times and take as a minister of government, you should not bring your personal issues when it comes to the general public. Because I could feel all kind of way about people of the different whatever lifestyle they choose to live. But then I ain't care about these things. You keep whatever you choose to live into your own thing. Just don't bring it towards me, and we're good. You know what I'm saying? But then if your belief system about cannabis, you know, do you hear the minister of agriculture speak about cannabis? I would like to know when he gonna start to speak about it and how gonna start glorify the same bad good herb and all this stuff. These are things that I'm intrigued of hearing, but I ain't hearing it because you're not fake. You see what I mean? Other people speak about stuff because they ain't got a choice. They are forced. That's when the people do not speak about it. You understand?
But that's what I tell you, Banky. They do come with a lot of fancy speeches when it is convenient, and they use
Yes.
the conversation when they think it is timely. So we're
Yes.
having some issues with the CBI. The CBI is not the only thing. You can look at cannabis as an alternative. As one of the alternative industries to bring revenue into the economy and so on. But even the dependency on the CBI. Um, Even the dependency on the CBI is as a result of them not being able to continuously um, provide for us what we can. So they end up on lean on um, selling out our lands and our passports.
Tell shows that I had no
They're
plan that I
failing.
could have go into
But that's what I'm
agriculture
saying. They're
development.
failing. They're failing in
Yes.
developing the country. And the only resort, the easiest way is to sell out the land and sell out the passport, right? So here is it now. You have an opportunity to not do that, to use a crop that can help to generate enough money or stimulate some more money in the economy without having to depend so heavily on the CBI. And you know that, and you're still wasting time pussyfooting around on an issue such as this. And so,
Yes.
yo,
No, well, wait till I'll just no. Go ahead when you finish.
yeah, we 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 I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take for the agricultural minister to come to the public and bring that issue to the table. I don't know if they need to hire your banky as a consultant to come and discuss the topic, and maybe they're afraid of having to
Oh.
spend the money or whatever the case may be. But
No, they're not finished spending money
it,
after on the amount of place the 16 up when you're going up on the road or up on the place. All I need is clean up soil. You see pure soil, pure fresh
but
cleaning. We're talking about money you spend up
yeah,
on the place, money you spend. So what
but
is the
banky,
consultation fee for me to have some workshops and you understand to the general public and speak and cannabis advice, whatever the department needs. You understand?
that is not
I'm not
deemed
the kind of
right now. That is not deemed as a priority. That ain't gonna help to win votes. The focus right now is to make sure you impress the folks that are coming in, so that when they come in,
you
they can
see
see
that's
the
the
place.
problem.
It's optics. it's
I always
optics.
say, you always hear me say cannabis, those who use cannabis is like you don't know who gay. Is the same thing. You can't watch him and say, oh, he used cannabis. There are, I don't mean, if this man went to a home where people, somebody who is sick and they don't have the appetite and they need the cannabis, the tea and stuff like that. So you don't know who use cannabis, it's just like you don't know who gay. Because everybody gay. That's why we don't trust people when they never know when they drunk a man, because a lot of man gay and hide it. You understand? That's the society we live in. And I know the, and I know that. That's why you see me out by myself. I don't flex up on the when the younger man. I mean, I never into that. Because I don't trust men, period. Got it to bother. You see? And we act like we live in a homophobic society and we are not. You see, and we female and the females them not what they meant them into. That our society. You understand? We know better. You see what I mean? Our leaders them know better, but they ain't can I play the people for a ride? That's the whole point, yes, son. Cannabis is what they know having money is a cash crop. Once you understand how to go the plan, they know a lot of people and poor people will be making money. But then they're smarter than everybody else. They want to get a handle and control it and have and invest with it. And that is just like the cannabis system is just like it's just like the salination plant in the Yasan. When it's in the water there, unless rain fall and not gonna crop. Not tell me that. Me not accept that. It's the same thing. It's the same situation. You want to the salination, but you're not explain what you're gonna do with the waste and all this stuff. We're gonna affect the coral reefs and the environment. You're not talking about it, you don't care about it, you really don't care about it. I don't realize there are some people who thrive off a negative energy and just get up every day to be vindictive and to do evil because evil is good and doing good is bad. I understand that. I see this thing between different because those are two different people in life. Those who say bad as evil as good, and those who say good as bad. That's the society we live in. And you can see it amongst those who say in making all the money off and the city high alone along with other things because nobody condemn it, right? And nobody talk about it because you would be amazed and train can most large them here is a part of the CBI. So they will talk and say most accountants, most business people they are part of it. When they got houses into real estate and different stuff. They're benefiting from it. A lot of people making money out of it. So I don't worry about people making the hustle and that kind of stuff because everybody got a hustle going on. So I don't watch those kind of things. But when you're keeping everything for yourself and bamboozling the public and act like no money there, and then the lady from South Sudan will say, "Oh, we'll have about $7 billion there, and it ain't gonna enough for the next 20, 30 years." You're gonna know what? You say, "Well, raise the age." And these are the things people listen to and don't protest against it. You see? You keep and then they still tell you, the men they will live to 69 and they drop off. So you keep the age to collect social security to 68, but they tell the men they will I live expansion. You understand? Life expectancy is 69, and the female
But you see,
74.
Banky,
Age. So which is it telling me? When people are listening to you talk, they make any sense?
you see, Banky, a part of this, a part of this thing is because a lot of us are not aware of our story, our history,
Yeah.
right? We 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 find ourselves in a situation where we were brainwashed, and those who are aware that we are brainwashed, those who are amongst us who are aware that we are brainwashed, instead of seeking to help us to open up our eyes, they continue to perpetuate the things that will keep us brainwashed, right? Um, it's just a couple of days ago I was reasoning with a brethren, and we were talking about His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie, and we were talking about, well, it came up because I did a post um on His Majesty's Earthstrong, and I said, and the top of the post, when I posted the picture, I said one of the most powerful but yet least known or recognized leader in Africa. And someone mentioned, like, oh well, not least known by who? Must be only the younger generation and so on don't know him. But the point I highlighted was the fact that how our society was at that point. Um, he was not known because though he was highlighted by Rastafari and revered by Rastafari, anything that was deemed Rastafari was ridiculed and scorned. Anything that was deemed Rastafari was ridiculed and scorned. So likewise, as powerful as Haile Selassie was and is, and as much of his doctrines and teachings and a lot of the wonderful things he did for Africa and African unity and all of these things were pushed aside because Rastafari was pushing that agenda. Now,
Of course.
the thing was a lot of what we don't understand in these times are what we don't pay attention to. What Rastafari was doing at that point, Rastafari was opposing the monarchy and the British and Eurocentric system. So Leonard Howell, for example, was one of the first who pushed that agenda. And one of the reasons why they fought
Because remember, they were just following
him,
Marcus
Leonard
Garvey.
Howell.
Yes,
No, but
follow Marcus
one of the
Garvey.
reasons why they
Yes.
fought Leonard Howell, right, is because Leonard Howell was saying he don't recognize King Charles. His
Of
king, the
course.
only king he recognized is Emperor Haile Selassie I. And then here you have this man who is pushing this philosophy, have bought X amount of land, create a community, a whole society, had over 300, Rastafari family living on this piece of land that he bought. They had their own set of businesses that they were doing. They had their own, gatherings, their own shops and businesses, and who is carpenter and all that. And they had a society, and they demonstrated that they could have had a community that was outside of this community that is still continued and perpetuated by the Crown Colony. Now, they recognize that if this community is supposed to be successful, if this guy is supposed to be successful with this community, and a lot more people start to follow him, then our system is going to fall and fail. So it wasn't so much the cannabis. So what they did to help break down the society and community, when they criminalized cannabis and associate cannabis with Rastafari. So anything, that's what I'm saying, Haile Selassie, the teachings of Haile Selassie, the African consciousness, everything wrapped up in Rastafari and cannabis they use to criminalize Rasta, because Rasta wasn't criminal. Rasta wasn't involved in them kind of things there. We had our own society and community and building, whatever. And so that's part of what they use to suppress that sort of rebellion that was against their system. And this is what we have an issue with. A lot of these people still continue to perpetuate that system. And the only way that that system can work is if they continue to maintain that upper class and lower class scheme of things, and the masses ignorant, continue to have the facts.
Yeah, but yeah, so at the same time, they know nothing is wrong with the herb all the time. Because at the same time, they was just not fighting in the Caribbean. You're not fighting because Rasta was using the herb, pushing the herb. But at the same time, in the 60s and in the 50s and all the time, and the time coming up and support, when they have all the hippies using the herb and all them different jazz players using the herb from long time, and then the hippies them start using it. The white folks start using it. Because before, is mostly a lot of the blacks them using the herb and stuff like that, and the jazz players, you have Ray Charles and all these guys, and then they start messing with you understand, the females, then they feel threatened by that. So there's a lot of stuff behind what you see. They have so much of fight for all the years. They had, if ever get fight, long time from when the Americans come down to the Caribbean, because plus they see it as plus a rebelling against the system and making people see things for what it is. So of course they're gonna fight it, but at the same time, and underground, they must forced to control it too. But at the same time, let me give thanks for those who tuning in, and let me big up Chantal and Delano and Disco and all the others who tuning in. Greatly appreciated as much. Yes, so any comments as we go along?
Yeah, we got Carlisle Paris saying, talking loud and saying nothing. The whole Culturama Festival showcase is not truly valuable if the symbolic founder is not central to the grand homecoming. Mr. Calvin Cabo Howell and his father, John Howell, the father of Nevis cricket, amongst others, unrecognized individuals not given their just tribute at this historic time, Russ. Um, so that's one of the things that
So that
Brethren
didn't
pointing
happen.
out.
There was
That's
no
that's
there was no tribute. There was no tribute to Cabo and the founders of culture from when it started from way back. They didn't have nothing big like this, no poster up in a sense like that when you come out, you see people like those. I don't know who doing the marketing when it comes to culture and what their plan was to involve who and all this different stuff, you know what I'm saying? I just really don't know. I mean, I know the big hype is about just the village and down by the beach, and apart from that, means I don't know what the excitement is. You understand? To me, it's just ordinary. That is it not it may feel the energy. You understand? I just don't.
we got Alan Powell say Haley eyes. I guess
Just
he's
like,
on another agenda. But I guess he
yes.
still found time to log in and be a part of the discussion. Carlisle Paris again saying black skin, white mask. France Fanon is a reality of our leaders' colonized mindset. Um, I was listening to another talk show earlier on this morning, and that's a point that was brought out as well too. In the discussion
Mhm.
that and it is to some extent, Banky, it's a lack of our history. Um, uh, uh, the continuous efforts to suppress our history, um, and I think it is, when I analyze it, Banky. Um, I guess we have to understand from, I guess, those who are at the helm's position, because let's face reality. If they are supposed to promote the things that we know that they should promote and push, for example, if they're supposed to
Mhm.
highlight, the Buckley's uprising, they're supposed to highlight,
Yeah.
emancipation in the way that they're supposed to highlight it.
Mhm.
Now, what is going to happen is that they are also going to be a part of the catalyst of waking up the consciousness of our people. And that's one of the reasons why they were fighting Rastafari, as we just pointed out. The cannabis was helping to open up the consciousness, and Rastafari and a whole was awakening the consciousness too, telling them to listen and leave King Charles and his people and the thing, and let we deal with we thing, right? And if they continue to do that, it will awaken the consciousness of the masses, and the people would realize that they're not really gonna power, and we shouldn't really be, empowering them when they are representing what we fought against. Because the reality is, even though we are supposed to be an independent society and community, as we are saying, our head of state is still King Charles.
Of course.
I'm hearing they're saying that they're changing the money soon, and they're gonna have Bacha and got other Caribbean leaders on the money and so on. But we still under the Commonwealth.
Of
You
course.
know,
But remember,
so
some of them,
we are
some of them don't
not necessarily much further away from where we were and are. And I think when we don't highlight these sort of historical context and perspectives, the people continue to be ignorant of themselves.
but the reality, but though we want to get away from England and these colonial philosophies, because I don't think, even if you have a discussion about the Privy Council and the CCG, you see what I mean? Many just believe in keeping the the slave masters around, you know. They just can't. They just don't want to let go. Master, no, they just want that. They just because we don't confident we can govern ourselves, and it's not what. That's just reality. Imagine you don't come here. You know got nothing. It's an idea because you look different. I'm gonna entrust you and give you land and money to borrow from my bank because you say you got the links to build a hotel. Well, can't our own people who have all these great minds who can drop plan? You understand? Who are engineers, who are builders. You can't tell me you can't have a group of people come together of 20, 30 people with all the specialties, 100 people, and given to them money from our CBI in Navy, but also in sinking, and our people manage it just so they come and full the space the same way. Why we have to keep giving and then let our people have shares in these assets? They sell the shares, you sell the shares through the CBI the same way, so the citizens be a part in all these investments. These things are not hard to do. You see what I mean? Anybody who keep imposing high taxes on the people, they don't want enough for the people. That those are simple things you could see. And all what's happening is pure high bill, water bill will go up, current bill will go up, everything going up, except your wages. But only the ministers and wages will go up the highest, the highest. You see what I mean? Almost 50% wages are given to themselves. And then make excuses and give it to themselves one time, you know. But you're getting one over a period of time, of years. So when people show you who they be, better just watch because they think everybody foolish. You see, but I'm just feel benefit. I'm gonna bend over and do what is to be kind of benefiting. I wish them all the best with that. But you can't fool everybody all the time because people can see for what it is. People ain't blind. But the thing is, even those, but you see, you can once you complain and the benefit, they also you're greedy. You see, because you don't take. That's the problem. You don't check. So when you go behind a politician, and that way, remember, you know, before you're a politician, you're them nice, you know. But from that flip, no man, somebody show something on you, switch you up and whatever, because it's a total change with your behavior. It's too obvious. You understand? It's too obvious. Because you can see directly everything in front of your face. We're not moving when it comes to agriculture. We can be way what I mean. I've been monitoring this the area what they say they're going to do with the poultry development, full speed ahead. And it's not going with the poultry development, and there are people who was excited about these things. Young people ready to get involved, and so they're going to rearing eggs and different stuff. You understand? For chicken and different stuff, get extra money. No, but the minister they even talk about that. You know, we can be given information. We just leave things alone. So what's the purpose of moving the pawn from Wiley? You take up the pawn, move the pawn, spend money build the next pawn, still buy a whole machine. I mean the machine or what I'm saying the machine now, which I don't know the area it is stored, if it's stored in the right area, environment, when it comes to humidity and you know what I mean, corrosion, all these things, how it will affect it. We just don't think, brethren. We just don't think. You want to buy a whole machine, and I
Banky,
mean,
is it is
it's
it
a business.
is it that we don't think, or
Uh,
is it that we think in a way to suit our objective? If my objective is to win at a particular game, and I am playing the game, and I understand the game, and I
yes,
understand the players who I am dealing with, and I understand the things that I can do with these players and can get away with. Why am I not going to do it? Even though it might be wrong, even though it may be overspending, even though it might be whatever it is, but I'm still
of
gonna get away
course.
with it. Why not do it? And so that is
Yeah,
the
because that's what I
perspective.
said.
That is the
Yeah,
perspective.
two type of
If I am
people.
going to win anyway,
So
still.
that's what I said earlier. There are two type of people: those who see bad as good, so they get up every day. I've been around people in your son, and their job every day just to be miserable, you know. Nobody go around in an office with them. Not care who you put in the office with them. The person that go to the office there. It's a matter of time. Because they're just in the evil ways, brethren. You understand? Our society full of people, full of a lot of people. You understand? Who believe in a lot of witchcraft, you know. Lot of witchcraft in a virgin throughout the whole every areas around you. So you walk past people and they smell of a quail and you want to know what going on here. This is the reality in our society, virgin.
You know,
Reality now.
Banky, I
That's
have
what
reached,
we know.
I have reached a point, right, where I have opted to stop blaming the politicians. I
Of
don't
course,
blame the politicians anymore. You know why?
the
Because,
people.
like I said, the politicians, they know what they are doing. They know they understand it's a game.
So
Okay,
that's the
this
whole
is the
point.
game. I I want to win. And if I can do
Yeah,
this, that, and I still win, my
that's it.
objective is to
We change
win.
it.
When I win, I
Then
know
that's
I have a show of 5 years because
that's
you can't get me out of there unless it's a vote and no confidence. I don't care what you say or whatever. I am still going to be
that's
there.
it.
And I can continue to use my divisive tactics. I can, continue to divide and rule, keep you over there, you're cussing and saying, by them, they over there this and them, they over there that.
Yeah,
And you rile up and you play with the emotions and you prey on the emotions of the masses. And it works. So
yeah.
my thing is now to appeal to the masses and get them to understand what their role in the game is, because those who are at the helm, they already know what role they play in the game, even though they eventually reverse the roles on you after being elected, because you are the bosses, but you don't function like you're the bosses, and you don't act like you're the bosses, and so they reverse the cycle, they reverse the role on you, and you call them boss, and you go to them for
You,
this and you go to them for that, and then when they don't do
but
whatever they do
listen,
without consulting you, they don't consult you when they're going to do things that they say they're going to do on behalf of you. When it goes wrong, or they overspend, or it ain't work out right, or as in the case like you're talking about here, where you bought a machine and you ain't set up the facility yet, and so you have to pay now to store that machine. Now all of that coming out of our taxes, but we don't hold them
okay.
accountable. When they're ready, they just come back and say, okay, well, things
Remember,
tight and we
listen,
need to raise the taxes, and they raise the taxes and you grumble, and then you don't say nothing, and it just continues. So if I know I could do that, and I know you all are docile people, I am gonna do it.
but that's the whole point. 'Cause you think people remember machine being bought? You think people remember we call it the about the pole being moved? This thing don't make no sense, brethren. You just can't have you have groundbreaking and all this thing, and then you bring out your staff and all, and then you bring people there and all this big camera and all this stuff, and bring out a model design and all this different stuff. This thing don't make no
But
sense.
Banky, it works. You bring these conversations when it's convenient, prey on the emotions who you need to prey on, and then when it's time for
But
the
then
election, you win a seat. But that's the
you
objective.
make your staff, you make your staff look better. You make your peers look better. You make your director look bad. You make every because then the general public seeking information from these people from the department, and they can't speak about it. You should send them to the minister. Just let them go straight to the minister. That's what they went to the minister, call the minister on the phone. These are how you're supposed to do when it comes to this chemical, and you looking at an idiot and go there put out this thing, and all of a sudden now you can't go forward. So what the issue is? But the money is supposed to be there already. This is not like, so sink it. Farmers getting wires, getting drip lines, getting banana trees, whatever stuff is there, and they have a next 100,000 pineapple coming in, and more banana trees, coconut plants, and all these different stuff. You understand? The farmers on the probably getting water tanks, matting, It's all kind of different stuff to assist when it comes to the 2025 agenda and all this different stuff. Plus, I'm glad to hear by speak, I mean, the consortium moving toward and listening, I guess, after visiting in your car, audience, and speaking to a few of them. You have to get moving to food production. That's a must. You have to, these things should be encouraged. You understand? I already gave you both government a proposal coming up from Indonesia when it comes to getting some machinery so you can have some workshop and get at least some the general public can get a bit of information to buy outdoor when it comes from grating coconut and producing and also do extract the coconut milk and all this different stuff and to help those with the coconut oil making much easier when it comes to processing it. Especially grating is what is going to be main thing, grating the coconut, which take a lot of time. You understand? So these are things that to move forward. I'm not one of the person who was ready for the workshop. You're gonna get a write up and recommendation from a full report. I'm not gonna come back and come and just get the old give nothing report or nothing like that. Just a trip. And no. When you're a professional, you're supposed to act as a professional. And these are things supposed to be recommendation and business plan and give a full report. But I don't do my part, so it's just them to move forward. You see what I mean? These are easy things. These are how you encourage people, and you end up and grow more small businesses. That's what these things are final. Yes, sir.
Come like I'm freeze up a little bit here, you know.
You're good. I can hear you. You're good now. Here you good. You freeze again.
Yeah.
Okay. I matter by
Listen,
just
you
us.
hear me good?
I matter by. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, it's in be alright. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. You know, it's really a tough time. It's really sad to see that, you know, like it's 2024, and we're talking about
Yes.
25 by 25 agenda, and you know, it's almost as if like 2025 is here tomorrow, and
Of course.
we're not necessarily seeing any, you know, serious push from the Nevis end. Um, we see and hear a lot of what's happening on St. Kitts, but we really don't hear much of what's going on Nevis. Um, before I
Well, the
continue,
farmers crying out for help. The
um,
farmers crying out for help and looking and want help because they know what's going on in St. Kitts. So the question one what Navy is doing. So I speaking to farmers and they know they're farmers. I know the kids with farmers them benefited handsomely from the same over 50 and as a group over 15 of them a whole arc of different stuff. So and other farmers benefiting. So the program is for St. Kitts and Navy. So I don't understand why they
but
don't get a list.
is it a case where the corporations or the farmers have to make their own efforts in regards to getting a part of whatever, or there should be a ministerial move where the minister should be.
Well, the department in communicating or whatever it is, requesting stuff for their farmers, the farmers them doing it as a group or individually are the homeowners and the benefiting cars. I do give people telephone number to communicate down there with the ministry and they get to carry the PS. Remember we speak about it on the show where anyone can benefit. It's a all hands on deck approach it is. It's
And
all hands on
that
deck.
is good to hear. That is good to hear. So,
Yes.
well, let's use this forum then to encourage folks to reach out to the Ministry of Agriculture
Yes.
and St. Kitts
We're
to
doing it for the
be
family.
a part of whatever is being pushed forward for the
Yes.
25 by 25 agenda. So, Don't sit back and wait.
And the director, Janelle, and in the department and put on to the peers, Ian, one of them guys down there, and you will get you to be part of the guys at all hands on deck approach. So it strikes me is very odd that agriculture up here is not really pushing that part of it. But yes, so definitely this Friday I'm looking forward for the food festival. As they have media advertising big time, but let the people know I'm not gonna be there at the Mango Festival. That people seem to think I will be there entertaining and having discussion about the different type of food because it's my picture there in the ad. But just let them know, no, I would not be taking part in it. Because people seem to think I'll be like the Mango Festival for 2 days been hosting it. As tourism they give me hire me as a contract. When I do it out to the director, he can give me a small contract the same way. We can educate the general public. But you understand? And that is what I did for most of the years. It's interactive. You can't just have make interactive because people come to learn and
Right.
people want to know how these people asking information. People just don't come to sittings now. You all meet often different people who into gardening and want knowledge of how can they go to some of the trees have this pest and disease and how you can. It's just it's very interactive and you don't know who you're meeting when you come to when you're going to be doing this kind of thing with people from all over. So I always enjoy engage the general public when it comes to being out there, whether it's different day with fruits and mangoes and cannabis, because it's just a lot of conversation with people from different places, where it's, and to know that we have a that really a lot of people are into the gardening and farming, but some will need the help and the knowledge and they can gain new education. I think the department have a whole ministry. What in English and they have a communication office where information could be relayed and NTV when it comes to promoting the agro processing unit and so this stuff I spoke about earlier. Also the small farms, the tractors and the abattoirs. Just advertisement NNC we every day daily the services the African region people don't know some of this stuff is available at the department and especially when it comes to using the agro processing when it comes to you have guavas and you want them to be cut apart, they will do it for you. Mango, lime, star apple, whatever you want to turn it to cut. They'll do the work for you and they just go back and you pay a little fee. If you want to have anything there to do and you want to go there and use the facilities or make the facilities for job, then they put the same way. These things are there for the general public too, and that's why I used to always invite the Randy and the show and how you going to break down the areas, different sectors within the department because so much areas in the department, but people don't know. And I must commend them for the summer program where you have the students from the high schools at the department in different every week they shift to the different areas at the vet in extension by agro processing and you know what I mean I about propagation and see where they fit in and like and they can get stuck in it for a couple of weeks a day and they get a stipend. So I must continue to commend that program that I would like to see more children get involved in it and then some of those students will say end up and be a part of the agriculture department if they have that interest in seeking a job there and stuff and they can also go on and further their studies. It's something that is encouraged there. But it's a beautiful place to work. You just have to have people within the department that have the passion and the love to help farmers and the general public. Otherwise, though it's not going to work if you don't have the people in the right areas with the passion and the will to help people and not self-interest. This thing not going to work. I realize in our society, people just want position because all this thing on their mind is the most money when it comes to retirement. But they don't realize many retire now they get to enjoy their money because we just spoke earlier that the men the money live to age 69. That's the average age for the men. Them and the money is 74. But yet they're moving towards to move up the social security age. So less money you'll get. You see, if you move it up, if you're at 69, the average and the female is 74, and if they're 60, so you move it up to 65 or 68. Well, you're not gonna money for social security. So give the people the money and then when one time then I leave. You make no sense? It's a con. Or you must be extra. You tell me the money done, or how you know so. Make no and it's crazy. You understand? We just sit back and because we're comfortable, we got food in the fridge, and we just think about self. That's our society. But I reach the point I realize we have too much and we mismanage and waste a lot and all this different stuff. And I can see these things every day, every day, every day. We waste too much. You see? But yes, son. I mean, we can hear time flies so fast. It's 10 o'clock already. You understand? As as you're going along and the reason that time flies so fast. But definitely, I mean, you have any more comments? Any more comments? Any question there? Anyone want have there? As you can see.
There was a comment there from Carlisle Paris, but my battery died on me. But I'm seeing
Oh,
Evan Jeffers saying good night from St. Kitts. I think that would probably be the
yeah.
Evan Jeffers from St.
Eva,
Kitts.
Eva,
That's the last comment
yes.
that I would have seen.
Yes.
But
Good evening.
I guess a lot of people might not have anticipated or expected us here this evening as well too. So, folks, keep your eyes and ears open. We will let you know when we will be back and if and when we will be on the platform on a specific day. But we have not fully sought that out as yet. But we look
Yes.
forward as usual to being here. Look forward to us being here the last Tuesday in every month. We are going to continue this where we usually focus on cannabis along with the topics we join up with Alan and the topics, and we usually have other
Yes, and see it with frozen again.
um,
But opinion on such a last notice, and but definitely stick around at the end of the month between 8 o'clock. We definitely and we'll keep giving an update and stuff like that when we'll be available and start everything. Yes, son, you back?
yeah, it looks so.
Okay, go ahead. And because we
Yeah,
can
it
wrap
looked
up
like
one.
I'm back. Yeah, well, it was a pleasure being here. It's been a while that we have not been on the platform. It was a pleasure having the discussion, engaging on cannabis. We look forward to hearing more. We hopeful. Before we go, Punky, what about the troop that y'all was support for culture armor, the 420 troop? Everything going good so far?
No, we have not enough discussion, so I'm not sure if that one don't work out how it's supposed to. Because we never had enough debate and finalize, you understand, and stuff like that. Unless anything changed then, but for now. You're frozen again? Yeah, son.
Well, I was just checking because I was just saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was saying that look like the activity that is happening for culture guys for cannabis, and so seeing that we're on the topic, I was going to use the
Yeah,
opportunity to highlight
of
it.
course.
Um,
Yes.
but we look forward to an engagement with the members of the new cannabis committee board. Um, we are gonna follow up with that individual that we should have had a meeting with this evening to have that discussion. And also, I guess since Ras IY is on the board, definitely we would have to link up Ras IY when in due time and have him on the program with us. Um, yeah, it's always a pleasure having you as host, Banky, and enough respect to the Real Entertainment Network for facilitating us. Chev and Ira and Reese and Alan the whole crew. We really appreciate the efforts that you guys have been making throughout all the years. So we give thanks for the opportunity to have us on the platform and look forward to, presenting here in the not too distant future. So enough respect, everybody. Enough respect, Bank. Enough respect,
Yeah.
Ira, Alan.
Yes, definitely. Big up Real Entertainment Network and just giving us the link up when you could Alan, Iris, and Cheryl. Also, it's sad that up to now, the promotion that Real Entertainment doing going on when it comes to pushing cultural activities, the music, and all the different stuff that they haven't been contacted up to present and given some time. I mean, you understand a little donation to help promote the 50th
Culturama.
anniversary of Rama. So it shows a lot when it comes to, and when it's the other radio station in St. Kitts is on the radio all the time advertising culture of 50, the shows and all and the different activities and stuff like that. And here in Nevis, even here in the agriculture show, we speak the most about agriculture. We promote it the same way, but still they never give us sponsor. We still continue because we're not gonna let because certain the ministry or the department not gonna sponsor agriculture show. That not mean we're not gonna promote agriculture. We're not that petty. It's an educational show, and eventually people. I mean, the people see things what it is because even when I leave when I leave the department, people think the show is not gonna chemical. I think what people think is a government show. You see what I mean? How committed we are, think we're a government show. That's just how committed we are. And that's us and that's but definitely we're gonna continue doing the show, yeah, son, and keep educating the general public and stuff like that. So we want to thank those who tuning in this evening and just keep the ears open and we'll keep advertising, check my status. And then next time we see we're in a different setting with mics and cameras and you understand that's the way I'm setting up so we can, keep the information coming to you guys. Chef, we're here and continue supporting Real Entertainment Network on a weekly basis. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Yes, son, enough respect. And to those, let the people enjoy the festive season. There are a lot of people here on the island. Just remember, we drive on the left here and not the right. I've been passing a few accidents on the road. Some people wonder how these accidents happen, 3 and 4 and 5 cars and stuff like that. So, and then a lot of alcohol consumption. So, always have a designated driver. You want to come on vacation, drinking yourself, getting alcohol poisoning, and not knowing your whereabouts and where you're actually going for an activity. So be alert, have fun, but don't consume more than what you need and all this different stuff. Party safe, that's the best way to put it. And enjoy the festive season. So I just, as you know, it's time to go back to your daily life and so and don't spend up all the money and then when the kind of bills are gonna be paid and stuff like that. Anything before we go, Yason?
Yeah, man, just enough love, Real Entertainment Network, people support network, and continue to support everything agriculture. We will continue with the programming and we will continue to push the base, continue to keep it real. So, enough respect every time. Congratulations again to my mom for being successful at maintaining the fruit orchard over there in Fountain. And as you talk about it, Banky is one of the only places you can get jackfruit.
Yes.
I think right now, she has a lot of English plum. Them plum that you used to roll when you were
Really?
small. You had to roll them, and then you
Really?
roll them and roll them until they get soft and sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man,
So
they
some
make
people
get
call them
Nice.
governor's plum. The governor's plum or English plum. We have a lot of that. So if you're visiting and you know what I mean, you can check us out. And I want to encourage folks
Nice.
too. I am a plant. Plant it. You stay in before you leave. Before you leave the Federation for after Culturama. Buy a fruit tree and put it in the yard. Your grandchildren, your children, even if you don't get to use it, to eat off of it, your grandchildren and great grandchildren will thank you. So visit Tafari's plant nursery in Fountain, check out my mom, and purchase a fruit tree and just plant it before you leave. Plant the tree.
All right, folks. Good evening, and take care of yourself. And thanks for tuning in and sharing the link. Is Chef there? You have something to take us out?
It's all about everything agriculture with the man Banky and Company alongside Yason Tafari. It's your weekly educational show.